But what is going to be exactly like if you have your ideal, the first design that you would like to do?
There's not anything about the first design. Like I said, if you change, when the city structures change to even act more like an organism, and and then they have a symbiotic relationship with the natural environment, then it will show that our priorities and our values have changed as a nation and as a culture, whereas right now they're centered around the automobile and consumerism. Very evidently, you can just look around and see that that's what everything's about, with all the signs and everything like that. But in the future, where there'll be alternative energy everywhere, decentralized energy coming all over the place. Hopefully 99% of the food will be grown where it needs to be grown in a localized environment. Hopefully even rooftop gardens. I mean, imagine everyone is being actually, instead of just preaching in this country that you want to be independent, don't tread on me, self-sufficient, I want to be an independent American and do my things. It's like we're so heavily dependent on corporations and other, and big government right now that it doesn't really speak to what we hold true as a nation, and especially those are our values, right? So we can actually make that happen with some sort of, agrarian urbanistic revolution. From the ground up, we grow a new future, and then everywhere you look, when you see all the fans, the solar panels, we no longer have any fossil fuels, all of our cars are electric, we have abundant energy, technology is almost organic because we'll be able to use nanotechnology, we'll be able to combine biotechnology together to where literally you'll have technology that is made more in close relationship with the earth, to the point where I think a lot of the products we'll be able to throw outside and actually litter, but it'll immediately biodegrade in a couple days, and actually all these urban centers will become these biodiversity, not what is used today. The biodiversity hotspots today are places that have lost tons of species, but they'll become, a flourishing garden almost, a garden of, not Eden per se, to put any kind of religious tone to it, but really, I mean, they could become lush centers of just biodiversity, tons of different organisms, because human beings like variety. It's the spice of life, as Alan Watts would say. We like diversity. That's actually healthy for an ecosystem. Any ecologist will tell you that diversity in plants actually creates a net effect of beneficial, symbiotic relationship, I suppose, where all these organisms feed off of one another. And in that way, we could become stewards to that. And I think that we could live in a very cool and healthy place. And from there, you'd have, it would show that our priorities have changed. And it would also, make everyone healthier, smarter, and happier. And they wouldn't even realize that it was the foundation of the place that they live in that would make them better every day. And I saw something last night that I really liked. It said, there's only one person that you should try to be better than, and that's the person you were yesterday.
Oh, that's great.
And in that way,
profound.
Instead of a helping hand or some kind of welfare or government or some even benevolent philanthropist billionaire, instead of that per se, why not, with education and with the foundation that I'm talking about, and each person rising up as individuals to create a community that every single person is empowered with just the knowledge that yes, they can be self-sufficient, they're independent, they don't depend on other people, they have free access to knowledge all the time. This is stuff that if I can spit these words, the ideas are already out there, and a lot of people are having these ideas. Now just comes the action of each individual to manifest this reality. It's not manifesting destiny like it was back in the day where the church wanted to create heaven on earth. This is manifesting the reality that you want to live in. And it's only a sane thing to do. It's a selfish thing to do, to create a more cooperative world of collaboration, because it's better for the individual. It makes more sense for the individual. There's more prosperity, there's more abundance for that individual, and it has nothing to do with wealth, because in that way, if everybody becomes wealthy, then there aren't any more extremes of, you know, like any more petite bourgeoisie or those kinds of things where, you know, you have this upper echelon of people, this 1% that is like, oh, well, I need no taxes, and that's fine. I don't agree with taxes, but, you know, allow my philanthropy to disseminate amongst the people because they couldn't do it for themselves. If they could, why don't they just do it? I mean, it's a little bit harder than that, you know?
Right.
And,
Of course it is.
But changing the way that the social system is laid out foundationally would make a huge difference, and that's what people don't even consider from time to time. They're like, hey, let's get the politicians to do this, to change this. And it's like, oh yeah, well, that's going to take forever. Why not actually go, oh, we're going to make you know, these localized communities where people are actually putting into practice on a daily basis, exercising that self-sufficiency all the time, you know, and they're making it happen. You're not waiting on a politician. You yourself are going to go, you know what? Let's say I'm going to check the dimensions of my roof. I'm going to keep learning on the internet. Oh man, I can actually, even if I don't have much space at all in the city, I mean, depending on what the zoning is and whatnot, and I don't know what the rules are for where they live, but you could create a small vegetable garden, or you could, you know, I mean, you could do, there's a number of different options that can make you less dependent on other things. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, that is so vital, and that's why people need to be educated. But let's say you're here now, you have this idea now. What do you feel that you can contribute now that you have this idea and then you can teach people to do? But would you feel like for instance, if tomorrow you start talking to a group of people and they say, gosh, I want you to go and talk to my government and tell them that I don't want to be ruled by the government any longer and this stuff. I want to be able to create this in small communities. Do you think, what would be the next step to go and try to convince the government? Or
no, just quit giving them as much power. They're trying to get more and more power. And they need to blindly, you know, gain the trust of the people by doing all these false promises, while at the same time, most of them are being paid substantially, if not through super PACs or whatever. I mean, they're being paid off by people with a lot of money. And so even though they might be giving you what they're supposed to be saying, the false promises that they're supposed to be giving, they're protecting certain interests which are filling the pockets of, I mean, the bankers, you know?
Right.
It's no coincidence that the top contributors to Obama back in 2008, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citibank, are now the top contributors to Romney.
I know. What a joke, huh?
Yeah, what a joke. And then not only that, but that's what's going to seal the election, and it's going to be scary. And if it's any indication, it's to show that those are puppet politicians, even if they don't know it. I don't know whether they are actually some conspiracy and they want more power or whatever, but even if they don't know it or not, I don't know how they couldn't know it, but let's just say that they don't. Does that not tell you that the strings are being pulled? The strings are money. The puppeteers are the banks, and the politicians are the ones that are entertaining the public as like some charade. So unfortunately, I don't think that there can be much done there. If anything, this decentralized method of using social media and the internet and conveying information like that, putting information out there, more and more ideas, making sure that the internet, which the government has yet to really understand how to regulate, stays as free as possible, so that way we can keep sharing ideas before that's taken away. Because they're trying to take it away. There are a number of different things trying to be put in place right now that would limit the internet, like cable. Right now, TV is no good because every single minute on the TV is bought and paid for by people trying to put a specific thought into the group think of the collective population, or they're trying to sell you something to make you feel better about yourself because you're so worthless, when really you don't realize that you're worthless because you're just sitting around watching TV. not actually trying to learn why in the world you're miserable in the first place. Why are you sitting around so bored every day? Well, and you're so confused and you don't know why you're worthless, or you're not as cool as the movie stars, or you don't have any real purpose, or all those things that I can imagine a lot of people are feeling when they sit at home every single night after coming home from their minimum wage 9 to 5. That's no fun even for, and what's crazy is that now it's not just something that's being completely given to the poor people. Finally, you have some upper class white kids that are being poor right out of college, and they don't they have minimum wage jobs, and they're realizing that what's going on here.
Exactly.
So that's when people need to wake up and not just keep getting drunk every night and be totally distracted, but saying, hey, it's time to actually get up and do something. And why not? If you're going to bitch and moan about the world that you live in, or you're going to ever complain ever, then you need to actually change that. You yourself can change that. No matter who you are or what you think you're capable of, you can change tomorrow by changing today.
Right. I mean,
or at least practicing today. And yeah, maybe you'll fail today, maybe you'll fail tomorrow, but one day you'll get it.
oh yeah. I mean, and you are, let's face it, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of negative aspects of capitalism, but after all, you are in a country that you don't have a military coup or a military government, so you could really actually express your opinions and make a difference,
And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, that's what's trying to be done, hopefully. Hey, look, there's a St. Louis Arch.
Let me see. I haven't seen that. Okay, we'll see you guys later. This was good. This was very good.